We haven't done any drugs.
No.
I have snorted semen, but that was never on purpose. Sometimes it just goes there. Sometimes semen just ends up in the nostril.
Ladies.
And you either blow it out or you just take it in. I don't want to be rude.
No, of course not.
Our next performer coming up have been on several Queer Mountains. They're great. Please sound like a million people for Sweet Gwendolyn! Woo!
I'm going to use this slot to tell you how to use drugs as safely as possible, because I feel that abstinence-only drug education is just as much of a failure as abstinence-only sex education. The fact of the matter is, people are going to use drugs even if you tell them not to. So I'm going to discuss harm reduction tactics to mitigate your risks, and I'll cover ecstasy, LSD and mushrooms, prescription drugs, cocaine, and meth, because I love you all and I want you all to stay safe. Regarding ecstasy / Molly / MDMA, most deaths and hospitalizations come from overheating and dehydration because it affects the body's ability to regulate body temperature, and people frequently take it at dance clubs, raves, and outdoor summer festivals. You can mitigate your risks by drinking water and avoiding overheating. Additionally, in theory at least, Molly is more pure and mixed with fewer things than ecstasy and is therefore preferable. But that said, never forget, ultimately you are just taking somebody's word for it, what is in that pill. Additionally, always pack condoms and lube when doing ecstasy, as it will make you horny and you will want to act on it. Regarding LSD and mushrooms, the most important thing there is to realize that they are not recreational drugs that will automatically make you feel good. They are psychedelics, and they must be respected. It is always a good idea to have at least one trusted and experienced psychedelically savvy, sober friend on tap to babysit or to help with unexpected situations if necessary. It's a good idea to eat food in advance, as it will become almost impossible, and you will forget things such as chew before swallowing. Do not attempt to do anything that would be dangerous to yourself or others if not done properly, as you will not have access to your standard skill sets. Additionally, while not fatal, tripping too hard can be extremely unpleasant if you are not doing it on purpose. There are two major things you can do to mitigate your risks in this. The first is avoid updosing. At a minimum, if you are really set on doing it, wait at least 2 to 3 hours after your initial dose, but mainly, seriously, don't do it. The words, "I don't think anything's happening, so I'm going to take some more," have been the precursor to many an unpleasant experience. The other thing is, it's important to understand that with psychedelics, that increasing your dose is a logarithmic and not linear thing. So whereas 4 drinks will get you twice as drunk as 2 drinks, doubling your dose of a psychedelic can put you in an entirely different universe, which is fine if you meant to do that. It's not necessarily fun if you didn't. Regarding prescription drugs, the one major benefit with them is that you know you are always getting pharmaceutical grade and you know the exact dose of what you are taking. That said, people overdose fatally on prescription drugs constantly. There are 2 things you can do to help mitigate your risks. The first is always write down what you took and at what time you took it. People frequently overdose because they are buzzed, they take a pill or several, they forget that they took it, and they take some more. The other thing is never mix your pills with alcohol. If you are looking for something to safely amplify the effects of your pills or other drugs, pot plus drugs will not be what causes the overdose. Alcohol plus drugs frequently causes overdoses. Additionally, if you are hell-bent on mixing your pills with alcohol, which I recommend against, please just lightly sip on a beer and avoid hard liquor. The reason for that is if you are lightly sipping on a beer and things start to go south, you have time to react. If you just slugged several shots of liquor, you may not have time to do something about it. I also want to specifically touch on benzodiazepines, as they are about the worst pill you can possibly take recreationally, and I feel that they abound in our community. To be clear, benzodiazepines include Xanax, Valium, Clonazepam, Ativan, lorazepam, clonazepam, pretty much any generic that ends with a PAM. There are two major things to know about them. The first thing is that they work on panic, anxiety, and insomnia the same way that Afrin nasal spray works on a stuffed up nose. That first spray gives you a huge amount of relief, but by the time it wears off, your nose is more stuffed up than when you started. It is the same with benzodiazepines, panic, anxiety, and insomnia. The second is that they are highly, highly, highly physically addictive. That is true whether you're getting high on them or not. If you are taking them regularly or even semi-regularly, there is a high likelihood of physical dependency. And there is a wealth of information on the internet. I don't have time to go into it. Please refer to Wikipedia or other reputable sources, and whatever you do, never ever stop benzodiazepines cold turkey, no matter how small a dose you think you are on. It will be the worst decision, if not the last decision that you ever make. Moving on to cocaine. Do not share your straw with other people, as this can transmit hepatitis and other diseases. Additionally, never use money as a straw because it is filthy and, again, can transmit diseases. Beware of cardiovascular problems. If you have them, please avoid cocaine. If you start to experience them while you are on cocaine, please seek medical attention. Additionally, be prepared for the crash period afterwards, which can involve depression. Please be aware that it is temporary, it is artificial, and it will wear off. Regarding meth, be aware that it lasts a very long time and that you may not be able to sleep for 16 hours to several days, depending upon the quality and the dosage. So definitely do not do it if there's something you have to be presentable for the next day. You can chew gum to prevent grinding your teeth. It's a good idea to make yourself eat, as you will lose your appetite for a prolonged period of time while engaging in increased physical activity. And it's also a good idea to stock up on things such as Ensure or Boost, as solid food will be very difficult to eat. Additionally, as meth pipes are typically lit from the bottom rather than the top, have a plate you can put your pipe down on so you do not burn yourself or create a fire hazard. Be aware that it promotes risk-taking and monitor your behavior accordingly. And again, pack condoms and lewd, because notoriously it will make you horny and you will want to act on it. General advice for taking drugs. Only take what you can handle and monitor how much you are taking in a single stretch. You should always know exactly how much you've consumed in a single evening. Additionally, monitor how often you are imbibing drugs in the larger picture. Always examine your motives for using drugs. If the answer is because it's been a while since the last time and I think it would be a lot of fun, that can be totally reasonable. If your answer is because they're there or because they are helping me to cope, those are yellow and red flags. Always know your dealer, because at the end of the day, some dude who you just met in the back of the club does not have your best interests in mind, and you are taking someone's word that that pill or powder is what they are saying it is and that it is not going to cause you harm. Additionally, always do drugs in safe environments with people who you trust. They can make you extremely vulnerable, and there are people who will take advantage of that. Don't drive, ever. Austin forgives overnight parking tickets for people who leave their cars downtown and get a safe ride home. Additionally, there are designated driver services that will drive you home in your own car, so you have it the next day when you need it. To find one, Google Austin Designated Driver Service. There are 5 or 6 of them. To avoid overdoses, after a break in drug usage, take the amount you took the first time that you got high on that drug and not the last, because you no longer have the tolerance that you did. And in the case of an overdose, go to an ER or call 911. That is basically what I have. Please bear in mind, I had to cut a lot of information out to make it fit into the slot. I highly encourage you not to take my word alone for anything you heard, to do your own research, to ask as many different questions from as many different sources as possible. At the end, I want you to have a good time and to please stay safe. And remember, moderation is key. I love you all and have a good night. Woo!